friends, welcome to the second section of the Wasteland. And the second section is entitled A Game of Chess. The title comes from Richard Wagner's opera Women Beware Women, where we find a portion in which an old woman is playing chess, and meantime, her daughter in law is being raped by a lustful duke. And episodes of seduction and failure of physical relationships in high and low standards are being represented in this section. So let's move on to the poem. In the first stanza, we find the luxurious room of a woman. This woman is alluded to Cleopatra, who lived in all kinds of luxuries. So even the chair on which she sat was like a throne, and the room is embellished with portraits, paintings, and pictures are being engraved on the walls and ceilings. There are statues, golden statues of cupids. With all these things, this room is highly ornamented. And while speaking about the paintings, the first one that we see is the painting of a forest, like the one which Satan saw when he entered the Garden of Eden. This is an allusion to Paradise Lost by John Milton. Then comes another painting which speaks about the transformation of Philomel, the young woman, to a nightingale. The story of Philomel comes from Ovid's Metamorphoses, where Philomel is the sister of Procne, who is the wife of the king Tereus, and Philomel was raped by this king, and her tongue was cut off by this king because she should not tell about this to her sister, so that the king cut the tongue of this poor Philomel. But Philomel wove her story on a piece of cloth and gave it to her sister, and her sister understood this misdeed done by her husband, and she killed her own son and gave his meat to the king. The king became very angry, and he wanted to kill both Philomel and her sister Procne. And in the meantime, the gods intervened, and Philomel was changed to a nightingale, and her sister Procne became a swallow. And this king, he was also changed. He was transformed to a horse. This is the story, and this is taken from Ovid's Metamorphoses. And this picture of Philomel gives us a feeling about the modern woman facing the same situation. Rape is being carried out in every society, in every period. So while moving on to the next portion, we find the woman, this lady who is living in this luxurious room. She is facing a nervous breakdown. This woman is facing a nervous breakdown. She's waiting for her lover, and when he enters, she is telling that she is facing a nervous breakdown. My nerves are bad tonight, so stay with me, she's telling to him. And she is also speaking about what would she do the next day. What shall we do tomorrow? What shall we ever do? So these lines express the empty, aimless routine of this modern woman. And her routine is being told in the next lines. The hot water at 10, and if it rains, a closed car at 4, and we shall play a game of chess, pressing lidless eyes and waiting for a knock upon the door. So this is the aimless routine, taking a hot water bathe in the morning at 10, and a journey in a closed car at 4 o'clock to the club and playing a game of chess. These are the only things that she has in her life. She has only these things to do. So this shows the barrenness of barrenness of modern women's life, barren life of modern women. So this is the incidents that we find in higher society. So this woman belongs to a higher strata of the society, and this is how the love relationships goes on, aimless, barren. And then comes the in the next stanza, the life of people belonging to lower strata. The scene shifts to a conversation between two women in a tavern or or a pub. So two women are speaking about one of their husband is returning from army, and the name of that woman is Lil. Her husband Albert is coming back from army, and Lil is 31 years old. After their marriage, she has given birth to 5 children, and she is taking contraceptive pills in order to get rid of giving birth. So these 5 childbirths, this has caused very damage to her health, and these pills that she takes, they are also ruining her health. And she doesn't look like a 31-year-old woman. She looks very old. And this woman, who is her friend, she's telling Lil to take care of her beauty, otherwise her husband may go after other women. So Lil and Albert, they they have a confused and frustrated married life. Lil is afraid of repeated motherhood because it is ruining her health. The fifth childbirth, it nearly killed her. She was about to die, and these are the situations in the life of people belonging to the lower strata of the society. Marriage is meant to have a give a control over physical relationships, carnal relationships. And in the case of Lil and Albert, Albert is having too much lust, and this is, however, ruining the life of Lil. And this section ends with a line echoing Ophelia's suicide speech in Hamlet by William Shakespeare. And those lines are, "Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night, good night." So with this section ends, and it symbolically sums up the tragedy of the married life of Lil and Albert. Thank you.